On the show this week, we learn more about the Pokemon versus Palworld patent infringement. Folks are using video games to launder money. And after the success of Fallout, Amazon has a Mass Effect TV series in the works. Plus, the crew attempts to guess what game released on November 17th, 2009. All this and more in the GoGCast, starting right now.
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah and I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 471 and joining me around the digital table is Catherine. Hello.
Hello.
And Joelle.
Howdy. And then I don't know what the common greeting is in Connecticut. I was going to be like, hello, governor, but that's not right either. I just went to New England.
Oh my god.
Let's move on.
That's funny. Yeah, we're going to get into the adventures that Joelle went on this past week. Because, she put in some road hours driving across the country. Yeah. But before we get into that, let me remind you that if you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designedbyhumans.com/shop/girlsandgames. Maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsandgames. Let's just throw right over to Joelle. How was the road trip?
The road trip, really, this is the first time really me driving an EV car for any length of time. And I will say, really no complaints. Like, we had great weather. We had no traffic, which was shocking going from Minneapolis to Austin, Texas. And really no road construction. So the biggest hurdle was just charging and getting used to the process of charging. And I will say that the car's software navigation system is superb. Like, never fails, is accurate, really reliable. So when you're trying to find a next charging station, it tells you what your battery life will be at and how long you need to charge to get to your next destination. So that was really nice. And, after a day, we really got the hang of, like, how we wanted the trip to go. If we had to plan it again, we would definitely try to look for charging stations where you could also eat and charge. We didn't think about that, but other than that, and the car ran great. Batteries do not last as long in the cold, for sure. Probably got like twice as long battery life out of the car when we were down in Texas. And Texas was hot. Like, it was like 80 degrees, which is, I think, was it 26 Celsius for our folks?
That sounds about right.
Canadian cousins. Yeah, so... but the Texas was great. Texans are very friendly, and they want to know where we're from and what we're doing and where we're going and all the stuff. But they're nice folks, and we had a great time in Texas. And then I took my friend to the airport on Thursday. She left Thursday, and I then took a flight and went to Connecticut, essentially. I went to LaGuardia, actually, to get a car, and then I drove 40 minutes up the coast to Connecticut, around the Greenwich area, and I, entered into a Hollywood film zone because Greenwich, Connecticut is gorgeous. And the fall colors were peaking there, so I still got to experience fall in the quintessential New England aesthetic, and it was gorgeous. And the houses there are huge. They are very big, and they're very expensive. So, almost triple the cost of Minnesota housing. So I was like, oh, it is expensive to live in Connecticut. But it was so cool too, because my friend lives around the Greenwich area, and that area is very walkable. So from her place, it's like a 5-minute walk to the main drag downtown. So we like walked around the whole like downtown by the bay shore area of Greenwich. It was like 4 miles, and we just kind of putzed around. And they live fairly close to a Whole Foods as well, so if you wanted to, you could also walk. It's probably like maybe like a 10-minute walk max to the Whole Foods and back. So it was just truly delightful. Of like, you just don't experience that as much, especially up north. I mean, obviously the cities and the towns were developed at a time where you could only really walk places because they didn't have motorized vehicles. So it is just cool that it kind of kept this charm in a bit where things are walkable. And their library was close. They actually, in Greenwich, this is a nerdy, stupid fact that no one probably cares about but me. But they have the most, like the busiest library in the country in Greenwich, Connecticut. And
Really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
And the library is like, I'm trying to think of it's like a department store. Like, it's so nice. I don't know like how else to compare it to. Like, it's better than like a government building. I don't know. It was swanky and beautiful and filled with like art and tons of areas for reading. All their computers were like new, and they had nice like computer chairs. I don't know, but it was a grand library to be like to go see, and she goes to the library a lot. So yeah, and I definitely got some New England smoked fish, which was delicious. And then on Sunday, I turned around and headed out, and I did haul my ROG Ally with me the whole trip, and thank God I did, because I got to the airport really early on Sunday, like 4 hours early, and I was able to plug in to an outlet, and I played Dragon Age in the airport on my Ally for like 3.5 hours.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, this was worth it. So yeah, and then I'm finally home, and I haven't been home since Halloween, so I'm exhausted and sleepy, but happy to be home, but grateful for safe travels, good weather, and I really can't. All planes left on time and got back on time, and thank God for that. So
That's great. Are you going to be traveling for the Thanksgiving long weekend?
no.
Good.
I want to do no traveling now for a little bit, but no, I won't be traveling. I'll be hermiting at home, playing all my games. I'm so excited.
Isn't it like the busiest travel day of the year or something like that?
Yes.
Travel weekend? Yeah, I've
Yes.
traveled during it before, and it's pure chaos.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I got back. So it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday night, granted, but I got back, and the MSP airport was bonkers. It was so busy. I couldn't believe how busy it was for, like, I don't know if like Veterans Day. I don't know if people were traveling for the long weekend. I don't know, but I don't know, but it was crazy. But no, I don't want to go anywhere.
I don't blame you. Yeah, use the long weekend to play games.
Yeah.
Catherine, you were on a bit of a adventure as well.
Yeah, we had one of our, I guess now it's tri-annually, board game weekend where we go to a cottage up north, and we don't do cottage shit. We just sit down and play very complex and board games that take hours to complete a single game. So we went, it's the house of my best friend, his in-laws. They have a house somewhere near Mont Tremblant. I think the actual village is called Lac Supérieur. It's in the middle of bumfucking nowhere. The house is for sale, by the way, for like a cool $1 million.
Nice.
If ever somebody wants to live in the middle of fucking nowhere. Because they were like, when I asked my friend, like, why are they selling? Like, they want to get closer, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, closer to Montreal where your kids and grandkids are get it. He's also like, they often have power outages. I'm like, yeah, most people that live like north of like, let's say like Mirabel or Saint Jean have generators connected to their house. That's like almost like needed. My mom has a generator, like not a big one.
My parents have that.
Yeah, not a big one like the whole house, just enough to like keep your fridge going, have some electricity for your water pump so you can actually have water, like a few lights, some heating maybe. Yeah, I'm like, how do they not have? Anyway, I thought it was weird, and it's not like they can't afford it, seeing the house they bought, the size, and it's a luxury. It's not a chalet; it's a house. It is a luxury manor.
But do they use it? Do they use it like a chalet?
Live there.
Or do they use it?
They live there. Yeah, they have a condo in Montreal, somewhere in Rosemont. And it used to be like their kind of like crash pad in Montreal, but now their son lives there. So they live full time in that house, but they were away for like a month traveling.
Okay.
So they actually have people coming in and out just to check it on it, house sit, help if ever there's a visit for the sale. So when he asked, like, can I get a weekend in with my friends? They're like, sure, like, please do this and check this because we're away. But also, if there's a visit, y'all need to clean up, clean out, and get the fuck out for the visit. There was no visit. There's like 5 houses for sale in that area. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
That's going to be rough. I think that's going to be a rough, a long process for them. Yeah, but it's a nice, like, I very much appreciate that they let us stay there. It's very beautiful. It's great. So I actually ended up playing 2 board games that are based on video games. Our 2 main games that were going were Slay the Spire. So if people are familiar with the game, it's very popular on PC, on Switch. It's on mobile. It's a deck building game where you try to get to the end of a spire. And almost like a roguelite. And you have multiple paths that you can take. And then on the path you'll have encounters, mysteries, a fire so that you can rest or upgrade a card. And then you get to elites to get extra loot. You can find chests to get extra loot. And then at the end of the act, you fight a boss. And then if you go you go to another act. The video game, you choose a type of character. There's 4 types of character. You choose a type of character and you go at it alone. The board game, you can play up to 4.
Oh.
So you can play all 4 characters, like the monk, the fighter, the rogue, and the weird robot that is basically a mage. All 4 of them. And it's a co-op game. So together you're trying to get to the end of the spire. And if you there's like 3 little stones with side objectives. If you complete those side objectives, you can beat the heart of the spire, which kicked our ass. First game, we barely got it through Act 1 because I had no idea what I was doing and did not build a deck, did not go with a build, did not go with a character type. I did whatever. Second time we managed, I played an easier character as well. And second time we managed to get to the heart, but the heart kicked our ass. And it takes like 3 to 4 hours to complete a run. If you get to the end, it can be very long to do all 3 acts and the final fight with the heart. So yeah, we always had a game of Slay the Spire going. The other game I played, which I came in halfway through, actually, I swapped with Pascal, was Mass Effect the board game, which is, I wrote it down, Priority Hagalaz. So, if you've played stuff like Gloomhaven or Frosthaven, it's a persistent campaign game. However, it is not that long. It's very much persistent campaign for beginners. You pick up to 4 characters. Shepherd is non-negotiable. They have to be there. And
of course,
you can flip.
Captain.
Yeah, why would you not?
Exactly. And you can flip your game board. There you have male ship, femme ship. It's the same thing. It's just the art's different.
That's neat.
And then you have Garrus, Rex, Tally. God, I forget her name.
The alien?
Yeah, the alien that's there all 3 games.
Yeah.
Crap.
I got you.
The you know which one I'm talking about. Sorry, spoiler. The Shadow Broker. She's with us.
Yeah. Oh no.
I'm pretty sure it starts with I.
Yes.
Can't find it?
Well, no. It's telling me Liara.
Thank you, Liara.
Yeah, Liara. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was on the tip of my tongue. So you can, and depending on which characters, you have different abilities, different powers. And as you complete missions, you gain XP and you can unlock stuff. So you have a little dry erase marker and everything's plastified and you just kind of check shit off. And the way the game is you have 3 main missions and 2 loyalty missions that you can do to unlock a special ability on some characters. And it's a little flip book with maps on it, hex grid maps. One side is the map that you can do things, and on the other side it'll explain the objectives, how you can do it, your objective, your renegade side objective, your paragon side objective. And it's basically a dice rolling game. You have a bunch of dice. Each dice has an action on it. You can move 2 squares, move 3 squares, do an action, do a super action. If you roll stars, it'll power certain levels that you can have a gauge like on your thing that you kind of count, and you re-roll them until you have only actions. And then you can play up to 3 dice. And if you're a paragon, you get a 4th and possibly a 5th dice that gives you a possible 4th or 5th action. And first player gets all the dice rolls, gets a lot of options, and by the time you get to the last player only has the 3 dices that they roll. And the last player becomes the first player. That way. So, and it's basically like Gloomhaven-ish. It was fun. It lacked, in true BioWare fashion, it lacked some polish. I was playing Garrus. We decided to do Garrus loyalty mission because, like, I'm playing this character and he is a fucking DPS machine. Like, I'm downing enemies left and right. Like, it's going great. Managing, like, my aim to get extra points. And they're like, so we get to his loyalty mission, and the thing is, you have to take down an armored brute. So if you've played Mass Effect, you know what an armored brute is. It's basically a Krogan that got taken by the Reapers and kind of Borgified, quote unquote. And it says that Garrus has an advantage against this boss, and they say if Garrus uses his precision shot, he'll do 2 extra damage. And lo and behold, I'm looking at my thing, at my sheet, and they're like, did you get that, Catherine? I'm like, yeah, only one problem. They're like, what? I don't have a precision shot on this sheet. So we had to Google to be like, what do they mean? And some idiot on Board Game Geek was like, they mean the armored piercing rounds. And I'm like, ugh. All right. Because honestly, like, we were like, it could be the armor piercing round. Makes sense. Armored brute. However, they might mean the concussion shot. Because that's the one that requires a super action. So maybe they were making it extra hard. It was like, everybody on the internet was like, yeah, we just kind of ruled it was the armored piercing shot. And I'm like, okay, fucking hell. And in between missions, you have like these little a narrative book. Like, my friend was reading shit like Joker or Tally and whatever. He was doing the voices. It was amazing. At one point, he's like, oh, thanks for covering our asses. I'm like, what? He's like, covering our asses. Like, do you mean covering? And he's like, I think that's what they mean, but that's not what they wrote.
Oh, there's a spelling error. Damn.
And I was just like, oh. So, yeah, we were like, yeah, you can't patch a board game, BioWare. Yay.
It's a little different.
Yeah, it came out this year. I'm pretty sure it was made by the same people that did the Dune board game, and the Dune board game is amazing balls. Like, if you like a good resource management game, the Dune board game, even if you don't know any shit fuck about Dune like me, it's a good game. So this one felt a bit rushed. It also felt like it's Mass Effect first and a board game second. So as a board game, I give it like a 4 out of 10. It was okay, I guess. But like if you're really into Mass Effect, the mechanics are really tied into what the characters are. It's just if you're not attached to the characters, you're just like, I don't get why this dude just has a shotgun and doesn't have like range attacks. And you're like, well, if you play Mass Effect, you know why Rex only has a fucking shotgun. Right? So if you love Mass Effect, it's a good like 8 out of 10. If you're just looking for a good board game, play Slay the Spire, because that one's a really good board game. But the video game was already like an interactive board game, right? It's deck building.
Deck building, yeah.
It's a game I need to try.
Yeah, so the actual board game is really good. It's just all of like one game of Slay the Spire was almost like half the campaign of Mass Effect.
Oh shoot!
So it's they're all like, you know, like every stage of Slay the Spire can take like 45 minutes to an hour, and there's 3 acts, and then the final fight. Mass Effect was 5 maps, and each map is 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So,
oh wow!
But we do these weekends,
so
that people could play these games well into the night. And then we have a lot of my friends are dads, so they have a Costco membership, so they do the food shop, and then I show up and I cook it, and then somebody else does the dishes. Everybody has their specialty. My friend PL does breakfast. I usually help with lunch and dinner, and then other people do the dishes. And then because it's not an Airbnb, it's somebody's house. Like at the end of this day, we actually have to clean ourselves. So actually, like my friend was like, because some people sleep in beds and rooms, some people sleep on the couch. Usually because I'm there with Pascal, we get our own bedroom, and that's like one easy decision to make about who's sleeping where. It's just like, oh, you do get that. My friend was like, it would be best if we didn't have to wash the sheets. I literally undid our bed at home, packed it, showed up there, and did our bed. I'm like, I'm not washing 2 sets of sheets.
Oh my gosh.
We packed, and he was like, pack a towel. I packed our towels from the house.
Good
and
call.
when we got back yesterday on Sunday, I just washed the bed and the towels that we had been using for a week.
That's funny.
So I was like, yeah. But, you know, like on Sunday morning, that's what we do. We have breakfast, and then we start divvying the leftover food so it doesn't go to waste. If there's leftover, there's usually some leftovers because there's always somebody that doesn't show up. And then, you know, we kind of like scrub the kitchen, vacuum, do a quick cleanup of the bathrooms, at least clean the toilets and the shower quickly. And my friend runs one load of laundry for like all the hand towels and stuff we used to clean, basically, and then we're out the door. It completely different from the Airbnb where you show up, do a mess, and leave.
Yeah, true.
But it was really fun, and I cannot enough sing the praises of Slay the Spire. I really enjoyed that game, and there's really more I find there's a lot of replay value in that game just because of like how you can build your decks, how like every character can go with each other. It also depends if you're playing 1, 2, or 3 or 4 people. So I really love that. But we also had like games of stuff that was like quicker. My friend brought Terraforming Mars. Pascal brought Kunta Hora, which is the game we discovered because of Alban. And sometimes we just kind of sat on the couch on our phones in silence for like an hour.
Nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was relaxing. I went outside for a walk to just like take in the nature and I like shout out to Pass Me who took today off because I booked like the Thursday and the Friday. I'm like, we're coming back Sunday afternoon. I'm like, but I'm working from home on Monday. Like I can. I'm like, no, good thing I took it off because I could not people today. Like if somebody tried to talk to me today, I would have been like, shut up. Like what up? So today all I did was finish the laundry and clean the house because I meant to do it before we left to come back to a clean house. Didn't happen. So did some cleaning, went to the gym and just cooked some food. And I'm like, I even have the groceries delivered because I was that lazy.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
Don't knock that. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's an extra $15 when I live like 2 blocks away from the grocery store. So it is very lazy for me to not go to the groceries. But like Pascal had a lot of work and he was like, oh, if you can go alone or go do your shopping and pay for delivery because you can do that like when you're at the grocery store, ask them to deliver later that day.
Yeah.
But you have to leave with like the meat and the dairy. And I was like, not even that. I just pulled my app. The same app we use for like our loyalty program is how you order the food. And if you wanted like within the hour, you can Instacart. But if you wanted the next day, it's the actual like brand, like the actual grocery store that does their own delivery. From there, they have their truck with a bunch of part-timers driving it. I was just like, here we go. And I had like food delivered that way. It's just what it is. But then I realize like when I don't go down the aisles, I forget stuff. Like we needed soap for the dishwasher. And we don't have soap for the dishwasher.
I usually like think of things during the week and add it to the cart.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's because I use it all the time. Yeah. That's
smart. Yeah. We usually just kind of go to the grocery store and whatever's on sale we buy and I make meals out of it. Not a lot of meal planning on this end. It's more like, I guess, whatever's cheap is our meal plan. Hey.
That's right.
Yeah, that was my weekend. Very happy to be home. I have to go to work tomorrow on site at the office. I have this week is pretty much all meetings, so I'm glad I took today off, to be honest.
Good call. Smart.
To sit in silence and play some Dragon Age because, whew, I could not be a person today.
Mm-hmm. Well, on my side, the countdown is on for my sister's baby to come. So my parents are up this week. They got up on Thursday because Bill had his diaper party, and now the baby shower is this Saturday coming. But Elise wanted and had tried something and wanted me and my mom to try it too. We went to Oakville and tried a scalp facial.
Oh.
Have you guys ever heard of this?
A scalp facial?
Yeah.
No.
So it's at this Elise said it was like a Korean hair salon or something like that.
Well,
but anyways,
sounds
it's a
about right.
Korean scalp facial. So yeah, it's got like umpteen different steps where like they put like oils on your head and then they rub negative or positive ions on it with this like wand thing, and then they scrub your head and then they put like this cap on it that like steams with eucalyptus and rosemary, which like smells so good. And then at the same time you're getting your legs and feet massaged with a massager thing, and then they bring you over to the spot to get your hair washed out, and you're lying there, and it's not just like your normal salon where you're just getting your hair washed, which feels great anyway. They like make you lie down and put a weighted blanket on you.
Oh
yeah, and then they continue to scrub your head, and they do this thing where they use like let's call it power washing for your scalp. Because that's what it felt like.
Oh.
It felt awesome.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then they bring you back and they put another serum in your hair, and then they use the negative ions because they want to push it into your hair. And throughout this process, at the beginning, you got a scalp picture taken, and then afterwards, you got a scalp picture taken, so you can see the difference of like if you have buildup on your scalp or whatever. They said my hair was pretty good to begin with because I always use like a scrubbing thing anyway because I put so much product in my hair that I need to wash it out. But yeah, it was really nice, really relaxing, chill. And then we went and poked around shopping and stuff. We did the same thing yesterday up in Yorkdale. But yeah, just like family stuff because they're around. And now today I sat down and figured out I'm doing like a photo wall for the wedding. So I have one of those arches. I bought it off Amazon where you put like it's almost like a bed sheet that it goes over the arch. Like it's like a sock. And so it's like a 7.2 foot arch. And then I watched a video on like how to do all the balloons and stuff. So I've got that figured out now. So Friday I'll blow up a whole bunch of balloons, and then Saturday I'll bring it all down there and set it up. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm doing a lot of arts and crafts lately.
Oh.
A lot of, which is great. Like I made my jacket to wear to the baby shower. I saw this blazer on Pinterest that someone had taken like gold safety pins and pearls and decorated it like all over.
Ooh.
And I did it on election night. I was watching stuff and making this jacket. So I'll show you guys pictures of it later. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of it because I figured I'm going to be moving around a lot doing stuff that I wanted to be in like a suit per se. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to have to set that thing up. I'll probably even go in something else and then change later to put on my actual like clothing, right, for the event. But yeah, that was my weekend. Let's look at the fantasy critics. I looked at the podcast league. Kat, your Mario and Luigi brothership has locked in. So you managed to get 9 points out of that one because it had a rating of 79. And that's pretty much the only thing that came out last week. So yeah, we're sitting as me, Joelle, and Kat in the order right now in the podcast league. In the community league, Albin had Mario and Luigi brothership, so points towards him. The rankings right now is Offshore Meteor, Darth Stridius, Ross Varnier, Albin, Pat, myself, Steensby Kingsby, Jessica, Zhang Pao, and Phoenix. And no one made any changes or did anything. We're at the tail end. So now it's just racking the points.
Yep.
Curious to hear what you ladies have been playing, which I think I know what you've been playing when you've been home or remote, like Joelle.
Yeah.
Just guys, it's been a week since we last talked about your first dabbles into Dragon Age. How you feeling about it right now, Kat?
Well, I think I finished the intro because I was asked my big binary decision. In Inquisition, it was like, are you going to side with the mages or the Templars? In this one, they were like, yeah, there's this or that, and that's going to taint color the rest of the game. And I was like, yeah, true Dragon Age fashion. The more I play, the more I love it, the more I'm into it. Like I said, the early story is, you feel thrown into it because they went with the start of like, Rook already knows part of these characters. So you're kind of like dragged along until they do a bit more exposition and you get to know why everything, how they met, and some of backstory, right? What I am enjoying though, and some people will say, you're taking me for an idiot. I'm like, no, this is modern game UX, because you realize that people have a lot on their minds, and sometimes they travel like to Texas and Connecticut and then they come back 2 weeks later and they didn't play the game. Often, like when you take key narrative decisions, it'll show up in your dialogue 3 with the icon that has like the 3 arrows that clearly say like you are choosing a path for something. In the HUD on the left side of the screen, they will show you a TLDR of your decision.
Oh, that's helpful.
So yeah, so like if you're saying like you do something blah blah blah, like, oh, your companion took note that you enjoy this. Or at one point, I was going back and forth, being very sassy, sharing quips. When I come back to this character later, he starts with a quip, and then there's a thing in the HUD that says, he remembers your sense of humor, and he's basically, you guys have an inside joke now, and he's bringing it back.
Oh, neat.
It's like, which honestly, like, that's very good, because like a lot of these relationship trees and, choices and whatnot, they're very implicit in these games, right? Especially for like branching games and narrative like BioWare is known for. I like that they added a bit of just a slight touch of transparency. And not in the sense that, hey, we'll teach you how to make your quote unquote perfect world state. Just like, you did this. And this is kind of like, and gives you an idea of what could come next. Or next time you're like somewhere, they're like, hey, this person, you know, remembers this. A bit like in those games, that's like, you know, like everyone hated that, or I will, like this character will remember this. Like a bit in this idea of like, they're really doubling down on the narrative game and the possible branching. And I think they're really going for like replay value for you to play this game as much and to see this stuff. So I think just these, and they're not spoilery. They're not too handholdy, just like almost like compensating for the nonverbal that you would get in a real life conversation that you're not going to get from a video game cinematic. And also just so, you know, if you're coming back to the game a month later, just be like, hey, this character remembers you said that. And I'm like, good, because I don't. Thanks for telling me.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, it's like, this is very much like, at this point, they're like, oh, they're making it too handhold. I'm like, this is Dragon Age for adults, for busy adults that have too many things on their mind, honestly. So I'm enjoying these little quality of life features, which probably also would remove some barriers for people. Like if you're very, very ADHD, this game is there for you, kind of. At least helping you remember some stuff you did. And I just something I notice and I appreciate. And that is actually not throwing me out of the experience. It's really helping me. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. Like this character, I'm like, I could double down on this. Or like, oh no, that's not what I want.
Yeah, you could be like, oh wait, I don't want this rapport with this character. I better start shifting away.
Yeah.
From this attitude.
Yeah, because they do like have like icons on the type of response, right? There's like the sad response, the jokey response, the strong response, the violent response, the stoic you know, they usually have the base three, like the thumbs up, which is like, yeah. The drama mask from theater is basically like, I'm gonna half joke about this. And then you have like the knight with the crossed arms that's like, I am big strong person, I am very straight to the point. And sometimes they'll add extra answers, just like the anxiety ridden one, the sad one. And so and I think like just when you make the big decision, they just have the icon, like I said, of the 3 arrows going in different directions. So sometimes it's just like, I get that this conversation, I'm like this, I'm taking a fork in a road, but it might not be as obvious from what's written which type of response it is. So sometimes it's great to have like the character that says approves, disapproves, but also just like, you've decided, like, by saying this, you've decided to take this action, and this person noticed. And I like that. That's my Dragon Age tidbit for the week. Tune in next week, because I'm going to be playing this fucking game away up until Christmas.
Joelle, how about for you?
Yeah, it's going great. I finally got through the tutorial. It took me forever because I had to download it, and then I just wasn't playing it. Because with the Ally, you really got to be plugged in. Like it has no battery life. So where I was, it was kind of weird. I didn't have a convenient way to plug it in, like on a couch or something. So I kind of always had to play in bed, and then I'd get sleepy. But it was nice being at the airport just for that good chunk of time, because then I got to like get kind of into it, and I do like it. You know, I can understand people's complaints that it's not totally open world, or it's not exactly like Inquisition, but I think that's okay. Like I'm a player that I don't need it to be the same all the time.
But also, Inquisition was not open world. It was levels.
It was levels, and also I thought to myself, I also wasted an exuberant amount of time in Inquisition walking around to find like nothing.
Yes.
So I actually feel like as I was playing it, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm not wasting my life thinking that I'm missing out on something because I'm not exploring like every little teeny weeny area of this game. So they still have like little hidden parts. There's still like little puzzles like for you to find, for you to traverse. You know, you can jump. Thank God. And so like there's things like for you to do and for you to find, but I also feel like I'm going through the game at a particular pace, which I feel already makes me excited for my next playthrough, because right now I'm just playing as a human warrior just to get the lay of the land and just to roll through the game and to get my bearings a bit. But I'm already kind of excited to see how it changes when I pick different options, because there's so many options to pick. So I'm not like upset about those types of things because I know that the game wants me to interact with it differently. But I'm having a fun time. It is fun. I am glad that they're not throwing too much at you at one time, because I think that could be really overwhelming for people, especially if they're starting this as their first one, which I think you totally can start this as your first Dragon Age game to play. And it's going to be a lot of action up front, but that's okay. I think that's going to be, worth it as you keep going. And one like mechanical thing that I'll say is that when I got back, I did download the game on my PC, because now I have a 4070 graphics card and I'm like, I'm going to play this game. And when I launched the game originally, I had the graphics on Ultra and the game crashed. And all my drivers are up to date, my Windows, everything's up to date. And but just kept having this issue, and I had to put the graphics at medium in order for my PC not to crash. And I think, I'm not running like a latest processor. I'm on kind of an older motherboard. Like I had to update the motherboard's BIOS in order to run my 4070 graphics card. So I understand that those pieces may inhibit a little bit, but I just want to let folks know that maybe start your graphics on medium or low, so the game will run for you. But once it ran, I mean, it is beautiful. Like it is. I guess I don't need Ultra because it looks fantastic. And I have a really good monitor. So it's been fun. So I'm excited to be able to kind of bop back and forth between the Ally and the PC. So
did you check which frames per second your settings were at?
I'm on 30. Once I on the Ally I switched to 30 and it runs so well. Yeah. No frame drops, like it's great. And then I kept it the same on the PC. I just was like, it's
still crashed on Ultra.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, so I just kept it at 30 because I feel like that's what this game is. It's a 30, which is fine.
It's a very cinematic game.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
Yeah, I want it to run and look nice. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care what it is. So
yeah. I'm playing on console, and they were like, "Which setting you want? Like the one with like all the frame rates, or you want the one where we kept the frame rates, but you get like all the VFX, all the ray." I was like, the pretty one.
Yeah.
I want to see my Rook's long flowy hair in the sun as they romance whomever I fancy. That's right. Just the pretty one. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Speaking of low graphics, I'm back to my Stardew Valley bullshit again.
Oh, yes! Update 1.6.
So yeah, as soon as we got off the podcast last week, I downloaded it and started, and I've been playing ever since. So I played Stardew Valley on my Switch many moons ago, and I know there's been quite a few updates. We're at 1.6 right now. and I am encountering some frame rate drops to the point where it's detrimental when you're fishing sometimes because it stalls out.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, it's weird. I'd never had those before. But outside of that, everything is glorious. I have encountered some of the new crops. I started on that farm that started you with chickens, and it's fun. It's definitely a different way for me to play because usually I go full force farm, and this time I am not. I did not realize how OP fishing is in the beginning of the game. If you want to make money, you fish. You fish, and you fish, and you fish, and you spend all your frickin' time fishing. So yeah, like I'm in not done summer of my first year, and I already have like the iridium rod and most of all the fishes that I can get in both. I think I have all of them you can get in those 2 seasons without like I can't get to the sand place yet and things like that, to the desert. I encountered new festivals and one new event where you had like this green rain and moss grew.
Oh.
And like it took over your trees and stuff. Because it was really serendipitous too. Because I was looking at some of the new crafting items, just like flipping through the menu. I was like, moss. How do you get moss? And I did notice that there was some stuff on some of the trees and whatever. I'm like, maybe if I go knock down that tree. But I didn't have an axe at the time because I was upgrading it to the steel axe or the silver one, the iron axe. And then the next day, I had like a moment where it's like, there's this crazy green rain. And so you go outside and everything's tinted green. And there's like different looks on your trees and moss everywhere. And you get an email from the dude who runs the salon who's like, yo, for everybody who's curious, I'm going to keep the salon open if you want to come and like gather and talk about this. Oh. And it was just weird.
Are you also like in a hazmat suit?
No, I think it's supposed to be like hyper growth because I did notice like all of a sudden a bunch of these trees grew that were not there before. And like, you have the bushes that you can't walk past unlike the grass?
Yeah.
Like they're everywhere. So you're like hacking inside. And then there's big ones and they have like lots of moss in it. And there's like a moss seed that you can get.
Oh.
Yeah. So like I'm still kind of like figuring that out. That only just happened like a little bit ago. Wow. But I'm really trying to get through the community place as fast as I can. So that I can open up the rest of the game, see how far I can get in the first year. And I think I can do it. What's gonna be killer is the when you open the one that you have to put like 2,500 and then 5,000 coins and then 10,000 coins and 25,000 coins. I'm like, oh my god, that's so much money.
Yeah, I usually keep that one for last.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of what I'm doing right now. But yeah, it's Stardew Valley. It's still awesome as heck,
fun.
And I love it. And it's got its teeth in me again. I'm really curious to see now what my time spent on that game is between PC, Xbox, and Switch. Because I've played it a lot.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, let's go on a walk down memory card lane. Each week, the team will have to guess a historical game that would have been released during the time of this episode's airing. We'll start with its release date. I'll give you hints about the game, and the team will attempt to guess what it is. As always, ladies, talk it out. This game released on November 17th of 2009. Let the guessing begin.
2009?
2009. That's 10 years before last week's. Okay. What was I doing in 2009?
I graduated college. Oh my god.
It was my first year in Montreal.
Okay. In fall. So
yeah.
Probably a big, maybe, possibly. I
would like the next hint.
Okay. This game's latest release was October 15th of 2024.
Is it Alan Wake?
Nope.
Oh.
Is it World of Warcraft? No, nope. World of Warcraft is older than that.
October. It just came out in October. The latest release.
Diablo.
No.
No, we already did Diablo.
Well, it's good to guess, Kat,
Yeah.
Latest release. So it
Is it Dragon Age Origins?
No.
That's a good guess. Would it be Call of... No, the last one... Call of Duty?
Nope.
We did Call of Duty, I think.
We struggled for that one.
We did, yeah. That was a low moment. Latest release. I'm just trying to think of what just came out in October. I don't know.
I blacked out. Dragon Age was like October 31st, and then I blacked out.
I didn't know anything else. Okay,
Yeah.
next hint is, the game is widely popular with players of all ages due to its simple mechanics.
Oh, no. Is it Mario Party?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
That was a good guess.
It is a good guess.
Simple mechanics. That has iterations. That just came out. I want to Google so bad. I want to Google.
You're not allowed. That is against the rules, Joelle.
know, but I
Yeah.
want to.
Is it Mario and Luigi?
No.
No, those came out for the 3DS, I feel.
Do you want another hint?
What else came out in October, Kat?
The Pokemon trading card game.
That's true.
It's not that.
She just lets us know off of
I'll
that.
shut that one down right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
I don't know.
Next hint,
Okay,
please.
hint time. The game can be played by up to 6 players at once on 8th and 9th generation consoles.
What?
Let me read that
8th and
again.
9th?
The game can be played by up to 6 players at once on 8th and 9th generation consoles.
So PlayStation 4 and 5, like, let's say?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 8th and 9th.
Well, was there a Smash Brothers that came out that I don't know about?
No.
Nope.
How many people? You can have so many players.
Is it Final Fantasy, not 15, in the Final Fantasy 14?
Nope.
Is it F-Zero racing game?
Nope.
Okay, there was a Nintendo Online published something. I don't know if it was.
Is it a
October.
Monster Hunter?
Nope.
Okay, I feel like it's some PvP online game, because it's like
Six players,
up to 6 players.
and it just released. What the heck? Am I a gamer? I don't understand.
This is like she found a flaw, a chink in our armor.
Leah.
Oh,
Do you want another hint?
Yes, please. Unless, Joelle, you have a guess, I am
No.
blank.
It has been featured as an esport at various international gaming competitions.
What?
Catherine's face, she's shocked. She's like, this is not the direction I thought you were going.
An esport. Was there a sports game release that you can play a bunch of people on at one time? I don't know much sports games.
Up to 8 players, you said?
6 players in the
to
8th
6.
and 9th generation of consoles. Because remember now, this game series started in 2009.
Yeah,
And
2009.
it's still going. Right?
Yeah,
We've had
it's,
some product improvements over the years.
it's on console.
Is it a basketball? Didn't the show? Is it
No.
MLB The Show?
No. Do you want another hint?
Man,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
On the 14th of January of 2019, Deadline reported that Screen Gems has acquired motion picture rights.
Motion picture rights.
Did the movie? So is
For
it?
an esport
Is it
game.
Forza?
Nope.
Is it Street Fighter?
Nope.
I'm going to do all the fighting games. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
No.
It must be the
Can't
Do
be
you
a
want
fighting
another
game.
hint?
Would it be
You
a
need 6
zombie?
players.
What about Dead by Daylight?
No. To another hint.
Jeez, Leah.
The game is known for its bright, colorful art style and stylized characters, making it visually appealing and fun.
Is it Splatoon?
Nope.
I just thought of Splatoon. The colors.
You guys. It's so hard to stop.
I hope everyone's yelling at us because
Like
I don't know.
it's like when we couldn't guess Spelunky or something like that.
Or Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll
I
give you
don't
another
know.
hint. I'll give you another hint.
Yeah.
Players can use their smartphones as controllers in more recent versions of the game.
Is it Just Dance?
Yes, it is.
Oh
It's
my
Just Dance.
god. I totally forgot that came out. Oh no.
Just Dance originally released on November 17th, 2009 on a Wii. That's why I had to do the generational thing. The latest release was the October 15th for Just Dance 2025. The game is widely popular with players of all ages due to its simple mechanics. The game can be played up to 6 players at once on 8th and 9th generation consoles.
should've known
It's been featured as an esport in various international gaming competitions. On the 14th of January of 2019, Deadline reported that Screen Gems has acquired motion picture rights to a Just Dance movie. The game is known for its bright, colorful art style and stylized characters, making it visually appealing and fun. Players can use their smartphones as controllers in more recent versions of the game. The series has sold over 70 million copies worldwide. Wow. Celebrities, including Shakira and Katy Perry, have promoted the games through partnerships. There have been 16 mainline releases in this series. There's also the wonderful Experience series, which I appreciate because there's the Michael Jackson, The Experience, Black Eyed Peas, The Experience, and the Hip Hop Dance Experience. That's Just Dance. And yes, it's named after the Lady Gaga song. Just dance, gonna be okay. Do-do-do-do, just dance.
Spin
Yes,
that record,
there you go.
babe.
Fun tidbit about this game. I should have guessed, but
Yeah.
did not. You can now revoke my employee status. They actually film people.
Fun.
I know they do
Yeah,
because
they
there's
do. Yeah.
Little Sia does it every so often. She was in it last year or something like that.
Yeah. So they dress up dancers in whatever funky suit they have, paint their skin, and film them on a green screen.
What do they paint their skin?
It's
What
so
color?
cool. The color,
usually-
you know how the characters are like white or blue or green
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever? They're full body paint.
Oh.
Yeah, they're usually fully body painted white, and then they can color key them and change the color according to the map.
fun.
And often, like even the suits, like their costumes, like you won't see the same color in game. They'll just key map it, and then they'll change the
Yeah.
colors.
That's fun.
But yeah. So
is a
that's
fun
why
game.
it's like it's not like somebody in a motion capture suit. It is literally somebody film against a green screen.
That is cool.
And that's why it looks
Yeah.
like an actual dancer. Like, it looks so good. I'm like,
Here's-
yeah. Sometimes you just
Let me
gotta
see.
film a motherfucker in body paint in a crazy suit.
Little Shia had a good shot showing the difference. Here we go.
Yeah.
Her dance versus the final, but there was one where she was like all painted and everything too. I'm trying to find it here now. Bear with me a second.
I
Will
just,
it show me that actual picture.
Oh, I see. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Getting all painted up to do it. What a cool experience too, especially for someone like her where she's like a fan of the game. Here we go. I found it. Let's put it in the show notes
Yeah,
so that we
that's
got
cool.
it. I'm going to put it below Walk Down Memory Card Lane. There you go. You can check that out. You can get to see what it's like. Her filmed persona and then the video game persona, which is wicked cool. All right, ladies, I think it's time to hit some news of the week. You ready for that?
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go. All right, we're back with news of the week, and I'm really excited about this one because I think our third story is maybe going to answer a few questions of things that we've been following for a while. But in order to tease that, let's jump into the first story that Catherine has about Mass Effect. Look, it was just in 7 Day. right?
Yes, it was.
So,
Yeah.
like, I feel like we're on, like, a pattern here between that and then, Kat, you playing the board game, and now a TV show?
Yeah. So it was a movie was teased, kind of confirmed, and then nothing. But after years of silence, it's a TV series, and it appears to be a go. And it's Amazon MGM that's going to take
cool.
care of
Well, that
them.
should
So
be
I
good.
guess that means it's going to be on Prime.
Yep.
Is Amazon MGM the ones that did Fallout?
Amazon is.
Amazon did Fallout. I don't know who they. Let me look at who they partnered with.
Yeah. But basically, I got an article from TechSpot. And the article states that in 2021, Legendary Pictures announced that it acquired the license to produce a live-action Mass Effect film adaptation. It was in early production, but it had already tapped I Am Legend writer Mark Protosevich, Marvel Studio CEO Avi Arad to produce, and BioWare's Mac Walters to direct. But then we didn't hear anything. But recently, it's just been announced that Amazon acquired the rights, and it's not going to be a movie, it's going to be a TV show.
I think it's the kind of thing that needs to be a TV show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More than
Yeah,
just a
they state,
movie.
like in the article, that despite multiple attempts to revise the script, fitting such a complex story into a 2-hour movie was impossible without leaving significant gaps. So a TV series would be better suit the material. As the director of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Walters had insight into what the adaptation required. So it's going to be episodic content.
Nice. Quick update. Amazon Studios was later renamed to Amazon MGM Studios, but they were the ones that did Fallout. So, yes.
Okay.
So I don't know when that's happening, but probably next year. If they're starting work on it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me take
Like
some
in
time.
early 2025. Like I think
They gotta
2026.
cast.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of post work because it's a space.
Yeah.
story.
No, this is basically going to be entirely film on green screen. Honestly.
What's the
so-
next one you got on our list, Kat?
Yeah. Quickly. Because CEO's going to CEOs. Marvel rival employees arrested for allegedly laundering over $130 million.
Ooh.
So reported by Dextero. So this is people at NetEase, the company that's publishing and developing Marvel Rivals. And Marvel Rivals isn't out yet. It's on the horizon. So I think that's why they're like, the article is like clickbaity saying like Marvel Rivals Studio,
Yeah.
but it's NetEase is a big company. Like, so 9 employees were arrested in connection with a possible money laundering scheme.
So
According
it hadn't
to
actually happened.
yeah, I think.
Oh, no,
it's-
they did. They did.
Yeah.
They did do it. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going with allegedly because they haven't been
It's
prosecuted yet.
reporting. Yeah.
Yeah. So a Chinese news outlet say that executive, I'm going to butcher the names, I'm sorry, I don't know Chinese tones, but executive Jiang Lang and several other now former employees allegedly laundered money through contracts made up to 28 different business partners. Those employees were detained as the site for their weekly meeting was moved from Zhangzhou to Hangzhou, with authorities intervening and detaining them at the new meeting spot in a sting operation.
Ooh.
So the amount allegedly laundered could be up to 1 billion Chinese yuan or 139 million USD.
Oh my god.
It was part of existing business dealings in the company that totaled up to 2 billion yuan. So the actual amount won't be determined until the investigation has concluded. So, of course, the best way to launder money is to hide it in legitimate transactions, right? That's why you have business fronts and stuff like that. So as of now, Marvel Rivals release schedule has been unaffected by this sting. They also revealed Moon Knight and everything. So Marvel Rivals isn't the only game that NetEase has worked on either. So it's giant companies, but 9 people were basically laundering money through actual business deal at the company.
Wow.
I've heard of stories like that. Every company I've worked at had the story of some person working in any kind of business, accounting, or finance department. Mm-hmm. And then they figured out that this person was filling out POs, like, like work orders.
Yeah.
For work that was not done for companies that didn't exist.
Right.
And it's like,
books.
Yeah, it's like a $200 here.
Yep.
$500 there. And then they do this over several years and they're like ranking up an extra like cool $10,000 a year, just kind of like doing that.
Yep.
So this is like that, but a much bigger scale.
Yikes.
Wild.
So I think that's going to be quite the story to follow.
Yeah, and Marvel Rivals is not even out yet. It comes out the 6th of December?
Something like that, yeah.
Crazy.
I know, like, for the story I'm used to when it comes to executive and these large amounts, they're usually basically they're committing fraud by playing the stock market.
Yeah.
But
like insider trading, that kind of thing.
Insider trading, that's the thing I was looking for, yeah. Lots of insider trading. Yeah. Usually. This is not insider trading. This is literally hiding money in contracts, if this comes out to be true. So, that's fucked up. And that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. I teased this story earlier because, we've been talking about Palworld for a while because they're being sued by Nintendo. And it was always so, like, loosey-goosey. But, like, they have patents. But patents for what?
Yeah.
You know? Like, what exactly did they infringe on? And now we finally got some details.
Yeah. So this article I got off gamedeveloper.com. So Pocket Pair shared which patent infringements claims Nintendo levied against them. So the 3 patents, all filed in Japan between May and July 2024, draw similarities between Palworld and Pokemon Legends Arceus specifically. Their descriptions concern game mechanics like riding an object or throwing a ball to capture and possess a character in virtual spaces. And in the article, you'll have like images from the patent, and it's clearly like the stuff like the Pokeball. Also, Pocket Pair added that Nintendo wants 10 million yen, so about $65,450 in USD.
Yeah.
And damages, $5 million each for itself and the Pokemon Company, plus late fees and an injunction to block Palworld's release.
That is way less than I thought.
Well, it's the blocking the release that's worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
$65,000. It's probably pocket change at this point.
Yeah.
But the blocking the release kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, so then why don't they just change the mechanic then somehow and come out as something else as long as they're not doing it? But, like, I also think it's a little far-fetched to have, like, you're riding something. Is it that you're riding something and then throwing a ball? Because you could ride creatures in many different games.
The riding an object is weird to me as well. Is it because of riding the Pokemons? But, like, that feels like just like a mount.
Well, you can ride the dragons in Zelda. You know?
Yeah.
That whole thing where you were up in the sky, you were trying to get the sword out. Right? And cutting off pieces of the dragon.
Yeah, I'm trying to read the claim, but it's like very much very legalese.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Ride around the field with Pokemon rides.
Is it the way that you're riding the Pokemon? Because from the image, it looks like the way that the character is being, like, grabbed by the flying Pokemon you know,
Like, you're not on its back, you're getting picked up by its claws. But I feel like that's been seen in other things, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's weird. Catching the creature in a ball, I mean, that's Pokemon, right? That I can understand.
Well, especially if they
But, like,
patented it beforehand, and then
Yeah.
Pocket Pair didn't pay for the use of that mechanic, or
Yeah. Didn't know that there was a patent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or they kind of like just stole the mechanic, even
Yeah.
with the same button input and
well,
everything.
and thought they would change it because it is a little different. Like, it's not quite the same. So
Yeah.
they didn't copy it verbatim, but obviously the base mechanic is not original.
How about if they change it, instead of a ball, it's a square or a card or a
Card
pill
Capture
shape,
Secure entered the
or
chat.
yeah, a card
A
capture
jar.
Secure did enter the chat. You know, a fucking Beyblade, like something that's not
round.
a gem. You know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
If as long as it's not the ball, are they okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's more risky about them like not being able to put out the future release. Well, then just like
change
that mechanic
Yeah.
so it's a box, not a circular thing or an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. It is. I feel like it's splitting hairs, but
Yeah.
It's really, and they're not like going for a lot of money, but preventing them from releasing, that is catastrophic.
Yeah.
Like money, like you could probably
yeah.
recover, but not releasing your game, holy
well,
shit.
it also sends a message, right, to then other people that may want to adopt similar mechanics into their game, and so the ruling of this will determine then future.
How did that... What was that game that came out a few years ago that was kind of like a Pokemon-esque one? It was also had an early access... Is it Terra something?
I can actually.
Like, I didn't get a chance to play that game before yet. I'm pretty sure Simon did.
Temtem?
But I don't know how those characters... Temtem.
Yeah,
That's
Temtem.
it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
How are those creatures collected?
So is the Temtem is known as the game most like Pokemon. Let me grab the article from CBR.
And Yokai Watch. I'm trying to remember how they collect it. I imagine it's in the watch, if I remember. It's been so long since I played that game, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you capture them in the watch.
And well, even the art style is very similar. You crossbreed the monsters. You do 1-to-1 battles. Let me see if I can find like images of capturing. But as I do that, but yeah, I mean that looks very similar.
You don't catch them, you befriend them. It's basically a % chance after battle.
Oh,
So you befriend them. You're not catching them in Yokai Watch.
okay.
I enjoyed those games. This is going to be interesting to watch.
It will be.
Yeah. Because I feel like in Persona, they're not creatures, they're spirits. They're personas, but you befriend them. You try to convince them to join you.
Yeah. They're spirits. They don't live on the plane the same way as a creature. There's got to be a way that they can work around it.
Yokai
and not
Watch
use
could
a
be
ball.
like, hey, Persona, fuck you, or Persona could be... Anyway.
Yeah, I think it
It's-
depends on like if they throw any object, because if they art of like throwing and then a percentage to capture, I mean that'd be a lot to redo. But if it's just the vessel in which the creature is captured, that could be a little bit easier. But if it's like no, like if you throw something to capture it, that probably could be a bigger problem.
When did Arceus come out?
2022.
Do you think it's possible that they were working on this game before that game came out? Too?
I
So they
think
would
that's
know about a
likely
patent?
because Palworld
Yeah.
came out last year only. So
Yeah.
The early
so
access,
it's early access, yeah.
So it's quite possible that they were working on this prior to that game.
I'd have to
It's going to be
imagine
like,
so.
and then
Yeah.
what comes, the chicken or the egg kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But they're basically using Arceus as a way to cite for their lawsuit. But I feel like I don't know when they patented the Pokeball.
Yeah.
I think it was way before that, but I guess maybe they're using their latest release as a way to point at it. Be like,
yeah, like they could have adopted this because it was out in beta like a year before it actually, like it was out a long time. So yeah.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. That pretty much concludes the podcast for this week. As always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories mentioned in this episode, including that one about Palworld. If you have the power to rate and review this podcast on the platform where you're consuming it, that'd be much appreciated. Why? It helps us with rankings, pushes us up for discovery, and any comments we use to help build our show. And I know that soon, very soon, we're going to get all the wraps of the year, you know, like Spotify Wrapped and Rewinds and whatever else. So, I'm curious to see what people get and if there are some folks that are in our top numbers. Thank you, Catherine and Joelle, for being in the podcast with me this week. As I know, we're all pretty tired because we've had big weekends. But thank you for always showing up. Catherine, where can people find you online so they can chat board games and chalet weekends?
Yeah, to see the photos, actually, of all of that. All 5 photos I took. It's CSDSBINS on X, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. But you can always find me in the Girls on Games Discord. I'm trying to use social media less. So find me
Joelle,
there.
how about you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, on X at gamer_comfy. But every day, hanging out in the Girls on Games Discord, come and say hi.
And I'm Leah Jew on most social media platforms, but of course you want to know everything there is to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook, Discord, I read that backwards. Girls on Games on Instagram and Threads and TikTok, no the in there. Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more, but of course if you ever want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Joelle. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I'm gonna go back to my Stardew Valley BS because good games stay good, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.